Hey guys, this is episode 5 of my intro into fitness, and I'm going to be talking about diets, not just ranting this time, but talking about the actual cutting and bulking aspect of the fitness that is weightlifting, be it any of the three I've talked about, be it CrossFit, bodybuilding, or powerlifting. And bodybuilding does this the most with the bulk and the cut, and the cut, the bulk, you just go back and forth, back and forth. And I'll let it out right now. I'm not a big fan of bulking, and I'll explain why. It's that when you bulk, people bulk. First off, let me give you a definition. Bulking is where you go into a calorie surplus to get more nutrients into your body, like protein and other things that help build muscle, so you can build muscle easier. And it's a good concept, and it does work. But you gain body fat way faster because you're in a calorie surplus. And when you're a bodybuilder, you want to stay lean. So when you do this bulk, you do gain a good amount of muscle. It does work. But when you cut down, when it becomes your cut time, let's say you want to get cut for summer, which usually that's the goal. You get cut for summer, you lose all that fat, which is great. But when you cut that hard and that fast, you start to lose muscle. And basically all the muscle you earned to get, you just lost. So what I preach is that you stay at your maintenance, and your body will tell you whether you need to eat more or eat less eventually as you get more, not advanced, but you get acclimated to lifting and cardio and dieting and all that stuff. It'll tell you, hey, I'm a little bit more hungry, let's eat something. And I'll tell you, oh, I need to eat a little bit more calories. And usually your body will tell you whether it's protein or it's fats or it's carbs or whatever. Unless you have a problem with some of those foods, then you should stray away from them. But I myself don't. So if I see myself, oh, someone's cooking steak and I'm just craving that steak, I know I need to eat more protein for the day. Or if I see, like, I don't know, some bread, or I just want some peanut butter. Peanut butter is a really good fatty food. It has a lot of carbs, really calorie dense. I eat that, not a lot, but I'd say at least 2 tablespoons a day on my maintenance or bulk days. Usually when I'm doing a really hard day at the gym, which I usually go pretty hard, but more days like my leg day, which I do deadlifts and squats, so it's a pretty difficult day. So I use that to kind of just keep me okay so I don't pass out at the gym. But that's the definition for bulking. And for cutting, it's the opposite. It's where you go into a calorie deficit and you just try to burn fat. And if you do it right, you can not lose a ton of muscle, but more likely than not, unless you do it absolutely perfectly, you're going to lose a little bit of muscle. And that's why I try to preach not to bulk, is because you're going to have to cut harder, and the harder you cut, the more muscle you lose. And that is not what you want. You want to keep your muscle. So I just tell you to keep it your maintenance, and the more you lift, the more you'll have to eat, the more muscle you'll gain. It just kind of, your body fluctuates, and it'll tell you what to do. So I'm going to be talking about bulking first, because most of my fitness experience is bulking, because I have a hard time putting on both fat and muscle, which is good in the aspect that I don't put fat on really easy, but it's bad because it's hard for me to put on muscle. It took me a while. I'm still in my newbie gains, but that first, like, where you just progress, like, infinitely, like every single time you lift, doesn't matter if you lift like a pussy or you lift super hard, you progress. And once I kind of got past that little point, I think I was around 138, and for like 4 months I could not put another pound on the scale. So and then I started eating a little bit more, still couldn't do it a little bit more because I was afraid of getting fat. I didn't really process the fact that I probably wouldn't gain a lot of fat, because that's just the way I am. I don't put on a lot of fat ever in my entire life. And then eventually I just went all out. I ate, like, every meal I had, I just doubled what I ate. So usually in the morning I have some French toast. I'll eat 4 French toasts instead of 2 French toasts. Or I'll have 2 egg sandwiches instead of 1 egg sandwich. And then for lunch, I'll have as much as I can possibly eat at lunch. It was easier during the summer because I could make my lunch. But at school, I'll eat what they give me at lunch, and maybe I'll or I'll get something out of the vending machines. And then for dinner, I'll just try to eat as much as I possibly could. And there's actually a specific way that you need to eat to do that correctly. Prioritize protein first. Do not ingest carbs or things with fiber in them first, because that will fill you up. And definitely do not drink anything before you start eating, because that'll fill your stomach up and you won't be able to eat as much. That was a very good tip that I got. I don't remember from who I got that from, but very good tip, and it actually helped a lot. Drink after you're done eating, and it also helps expand your stomach so you can fit more food. But you just kind of got to test with the bulking and the cutting to really fit for you. So I can't really tell you how to do it. All I can tell you is that if you're bulking, if you're like me, do a bulk. You can't put on fat or muscle. Go into a little bit of a bulk. Do a tiny, tiny amount. Just eat a little bit more. Like, eat your normal maintenance and calculate what that is. Do it for like 3 days, just your normal, and then average it out, and you'll see what your maintenance is, basically. That's the easiest way to calculate it, really. And then if you're doing a bulk, just add like another 100 calories or 200, 300, and then keep progressing like every week. And if you're putting on weight too fast, you're probably putting on fat, which is unfortunate. You need to cut it back. But if you're putting it on at a good steady pace, you're putting on, I'd say, half a pound a month. That's really good. That's pretty good. So I'd do that. And if you're cutting, same goes, just the opposite. You cut just a little bit down, see how it works for you. And you can either do your cutting in the aspect of you go and do cardio to get in your calorie deficit, or you go and just eat less. You eat less and you're in a calorie deficit, or you go and run and you burn off calories. When you hit your maintenance, you go and run and it'll put you below. Or you can do both at the same time. So, yeah, a lot of people think that to get lean and not be fat, you have to go and work out, which I would definitely recommend, and it'll obviously help, but you don't need to go and work out. You don't need to lift. You don't need to run. You don't need to go on walks. You don't need to do anything. You just eat less and you'll lose weight. That's how it works. And I would obviously recommend lifting or some cardio, going on a walk, whatever. It'll help. It'll make you healthier, and it'll just make it easier. And I just thought of another good aspect is, if you don't do weightlifting and you want to cut down, the more you weightlift, the more muscle you gain. That's kind of how it works. And your muscle burns more calories because it needs calories to run properly, while fat is calories. So it doesn't use calories because fat, it doesn't use calories. You know what I mean? Like, the muscle uses the calories to work. Fat doesn't work because it's just fat. So the more muscle you have, the more calories you're going to burn doing simple stuff. Like right now, if you want to walk for 1 mile, you'll burn 100 calories. If you have more muscle, you'll probably burn 120 calories. And this works. It's not that, 20 calories isn't that much. No, you're walking around constantly every day. You're supposed to burn basically the same amount of calories you eat every day. So the average person eats 2,000 calories, I believe. You should walk around enough or do things during the day that burns that 2,000 calories. And if you have more muscle and you have more weight on you, you'll burn more calories. It's a pretty simple concept. And I'm going to give you a really good diet tip. I'm doing my first cut right now, actually, during this coronavirus thing, because I just sit at home and I have access to food. So you got to make sure you aren't getting fat, and keeping on muscle while I don't have the gym is pretty difficult. I'm probably losing more than I want to, which is unfortunate, but I can't really help that. But a really good diet tip: don't prioritize foods that will fill you up. That's what I meant to say. Prioritize foods that will fill you up. A really good example, something like this. This is about 120 calories, has a lot of fiber in it. It's just a banana strawberry smoothie. Threw a banana in, 100 calories. Threw in some strawberries. Strawberries are 4 calories each. And blend it up. It's a bunch of fiber. It'll fill you up for a very, very long time. And it's not calorie dense at all. 120 calories. You have 2 of these a day. 220 calories, you'll be filled for the rest of the day. I don't think you should eat 240 calories a day. That's probably not healthy. That's like one meal. But it's just something nice to have to get your cravings to kind of just fuck off, you know? So that's really all I got for today. But I think it went well. Yeah. You know the drill. Subscribe, follow the Insta, like, comment, all that good stuff. See you in the next video.